So good morning, Dr. Glenn Davies for Reversal NZ Lifestyle Medicine Clinic and for Reverse T2 Diabetes Topor. And this morning I'm going to talk about self-sustainability, and I'm going to talk about my humble early attempts at that. So with lifestyle medicine, we're talking about concepts like healthy nutrition, regular exercise, mindfulness, quality sleep, and thinking about the nutrition aspect of it. We put quite a lot of effort into growing our own food, preparing our own food, cooking our own food from scratch. We put effort into composting so that we know the vegetables are packed with nutrients. So I'm just going to talk to you about our humble attempts at that, and I know that there's many out there that do this process so much better than we do, but just wanting to share that with you. So first of all, let's just talk about a supermarket, and I totally get why we have supermarkets and why we go to a supermarket. Within an hour, you can get all of your fruit, all of your vegetables. You can buy cheese, you can buy chicken, meat, fish, you can buy yogurt, you can buy sauerkraut, you can buy breads, and virtually everything that you want, and that whole process is completed in an hour. Let's compare it with the process of doing everything from scratch and doing it yourself. You know, I was between clients on Wednesday, I was shoveling compost. So even the process of making compost probably takes more time than the whole week's shopping at a supermarket. However, the pleasure in digging down into that compost and seeing that deep, rich soil and moving that into our new gardens, you know, that gives a lot of pleasure. And I walked around this morning and I picked up all the Windfall fruit, which is in great condition, you know, and that was pleasurable. I talked to the cow while I was out there. So, you know, that whole process of growing stuff from scratch. And one of our members, Phil, has a handheld spectrometer, and he went around some commercially grown vegetables and looked at the nutrient content compared with his own homegrown organic produce, and the nutrient content was 3 times higher in his own vegetables. So, you know, there is value in putting this extra effort into doing it yourself, growing it from scratch, preparing the food from scratch. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and we'll have a look at just a few examples here. All right, so let's have a look around and see what we've got here. So first of all, this was the Windfall fruit that I picked up. Now, you know, some of them have got bugs in them, but, you know, largely that's perfectly good fruit, particularly the plums. You know, they're all perfect. And this was just lying on the ground this morning. So I had a lovely walk around the property. The peach I picked off the tree, but it's not quite ripe yet. And same with that apple there, but I had one of these yesterday and they're just beautiful. So there were none of those on the ground. And then now the tomatoes. So this was from yesterday. There are so many ripe at the moment, there's no way we're going to eat all of those. So Vanessa has been making preserves. So that's a tomato puree. There's a lot of tomatoes in that jar. So that's a really good way of making use of all this excess tomatoes. And with some of those yellow plums, she's made some jam. There's no sweetener in there, and that actually tastes quite sour, so might need maybe some stevia in the next lot. And then Vanessa makes this beautiful almond milk. Now, as some of you may know, Vanessa's quite shy, and I've been trying to get her to video some of these processes, which I haven't persuaded her to do yet. But, you know, the process of making homemade almond milk is you activate the almonds just simply by soaking them, and then you put them through the blender with a muslin cloth. You remove the fiber, and it makes a whole bottle of milk like that, which I can't show you because we've drunk it all, because it really is beautiful. And then Vanessa's been making her own peanut butter. Again, it's just a matter of simply roasting the peanuts. Only takes about 10 minutes, putting them through the blender. I think she added a little bit of olive oil, and that was peanut butter. And then here, I was feeding the cats out of some, I guess they're aluminium sachets of cat food, and just thinking, what a lot of waste. So we were cleaning out the freezer because we've had a sheep prepared. Actually, I cut up that sheep myself, so I've for the first time actually realized what chops are and seen the difference between the hind roast and the shoulder roast. But we were cleaning out the freezer because one of our steers has gone to the home kill. So this was some fish that we found in there. This is a mullet. So I filleted that this morning, and the cats absolutely love that. They devour it, and there's no waste. And the skeleton I've dug into the garden, so as long as the dog doesn't dig that up, that will contribute to the fertilizer. So just put you back there. So that's just a few thoughts about our humble efforts at being more self-sustaining. I think we all have the opportunity to do that. Even if we live in a city, we can still grow some vegetables in pots. I'm very, very privileged to have the opportunity to use this land. But, I need to do a whole lot more. We need to be self-sustaining with energy. We don't have solar panels, which we're looking into. We have got a generator in case the power goes out, but it's not working. We have a bore, so we've got beautiful water with no chlorine in it, which is fantastic. We're just looking at getting a fire that we can do all of our cooking in. So there's there's an oven, and there's a cooktop on it. So we've got access to a whole lot of firewood from our neighbour's property, that if we don't take that and burn it in the fire, it will just be lit on fire at some stage, and that carbon will be released into the environment with no benefit. So that firewood, heating our hot water, and if we can use that for all of our cooking, that'll be fantastic. So we talk about self-sustainability, the fact that it is a big part of lifestyle medicine, and even if we're living in a city, I think we can, contribute to that. The final point is the mindfulness that's associated with these processes, I think contributes to our wellness. Thank you. Have a great weekend.